Okay, this is a video about reinforcing a shed. Now this shed was built, maybe 35 years ago, and its goal was to handle the water pumps and filters and pressure tanks for the water system for the house. And over the years, it has settled a little bit, and there's some joists under it, and the joists have come loose and sunk in the back. So here we are. We'll get a little bit better once we get inside the door. Anyway, there's the floor. It's got a plywood floor and a wood frame, which I wouldn't recommend if you're building a pump house. Build it out of concrete from the beginning. But here we are with this one. It's been a pump house, and then 2 years ago it became a place where the electrical connections for the solar panels happened, and which I wasn't too excited about, but that's what the installer wanted to do. So I'm going to try and reinforce the floor, make it sturdier, perhaps make it a little bit more earthquake resistant. I'm going to add strap downs and cement footings at least under the back edge. Okay, this is the back edge. The skinny stripes that are about 1 inch wide, those are where 2x4s for framing the shed go up. And the wider 2 pieces of short tape show where the framing members for the floor are. And each of those had sunk down 1/2 inch or 1 inch. And I've done the one on the left so far. I've cut away where the plywood sticks out below the 2x6. And now I'll show you where there's the 2x6 support. And that should be flush with the bottom of the other framing. It was probably just nailed through, and over the years it has settled that much. So you put a strap under it and jack them both up, because that's the easiest way I've found to hold the strap in position. All right, there's the jack. I've raised it up with the strap hanger on top of it. It's flush with the rest of the framing. And I'm going to let it sit now for an hour and make sure it doesn't settle. And then I've got to come back and put in all the screws, that's a treat. Boy, then you can't wear your gloves because you got to be able to feel where all the holes are. Okay, there we are. It had settled a little bit. That's how I pan back. Let's see, I've got screws. I got 4 screws in. And then on the other side, I hope it's all right. This is the far side. When I filmed it the first time, I realized I'd missed a hole. So there we are, all the holes, including an extra one filled with screws. Okay, we're getting ready to do some concrete work. This is one of the forms I made, and you can see a gray pipe on the right edge. That's where all of the high voltage lines come through. And we're going to keep that from getting involved, but it's going to be right next to it. Anyway, I've formed up this, put the straps on, and there's no back to this form. I'm counting on the concrete just mushing out, going behind, connecting with the other piece that I'm going to pour on the other corner adjacent, and getting the cement so it's up and under the 2x6s here on this side and in the middle. And here's a ramp that I've made to bring this concrete in. Hopefully that'll work. And then I've got my bags of concrete all set up. All the electrical connections and the water is coming through the shed, because that's something that might not be immediately apparent to everybody, but one of the constraints of this project is it doesn't interfere with the shed's daily operations. 60-pound bags, so one didn't make much of a dent in it. Well, I've got 2 bags in mixed, and let's see how the plywood board works. Well, that's most of 2 bags. It looks like it's going to need a lot, but I've got 14 bags on the pallet, so what I'm going to do next is, there's a bunch of stuff that was dry in the corners. I'll get that wet first, and then I'll add another 2 bags. Okay, I think that looks pretty good. Well, this is nice. This is a nice sort of phase. It's starting to get hard to push the cement back. So okay, a partial bag. Okay, that's better. Otherwise, it was going to start coming out. Okay. Now this thing here, I made it, put the little sawhorse and strapped a round piece to it, and then I could screw in with the plywood, so I didn't have to worry about it moving. Now sometime later, I don't know whether it'll probably be this afternoon, I'll come back and I'll scrub this down and get it so it's a cleaner line, and I'll probably take off the forms either this afternoon or tomorrow morning. Depends how it goes. But this cement here will support that 2x6 joist, even though we put a hanger on it. And this one here will hold this whole corner of the building down in case we ever have a real wind. Now these are just the first 2 anchor points. There's going to be at least 2 more over here. It gets more complicated as you go towards the front of the building, because like the electrical goes off in that direction, and then there's pipes going off in all directions. So I've got to be a lot more careful, or just figure doing the back is enough. Okay. And now to clean everything up. I started this project last fall, and I decided that it got too cold. I ordered the straps, but it got too cold to set the cement right. But the other thing that would have been too cold to do is to wash myself off with the hose at this point. So I'm looking forward to doing that shortly. It's been 4 hours since we finished putting the cement in here, and I came out about half an hour ago and checked, and I thought, oh, it's probably something I could do. I broke a little piece of it off, but it's pretty solid feeling. So and I've taken the screws out. I had screws here and here, and these guys. We'll see if we can get these pins out, and then the forms. These are nice. If you've never used these, they've got holes, well, on either side. They're about every 2 inches, and they make it much easier to build a form. And they come in different lengths. Oh, well, I didn't get all the screws out. Okay. Okay. All right. That can go there. Get this out of the way. All right. Now I don't know whether these side pieces are going to come out or not. They certainly wouldn't come out if you waited a long time. Okay. That's off. This is a little piece of Mylar bagging that I put in here to keep the cement away from that piece of conduit. Okay. All right, now let's take the hose and then so you can see it's not very hard at the moment. It certainly isn't cured, but this is a good time okay. I think that's pretty good. I got these edges rounded off, this washed down, and I'll do the boards in just a second. Take this bit of plastic wrap it around it, because a lot of people talk about cement drying, and it can dry, but you don't want it to dry. You want it to cure. It's a chemical reaction. Okay, and that can sit like that for a couple of days and we won't mess with it. And it's nice to get the forms back for two reasons. One, I can use them again on the other side, and then I won't have to worry about them rotting in place. Okay, and I'm going to do the same thing with the other one. It'll just be more of the same.